to Tips with Andrew. I am Andrew Sapp. Thanks so much for joining me on this happy Friday. No, we are Saturday. Sorry. Actually, it's Saturday, the long weekend. The Friday being the holiday threw me off, not being at work. So sorry, we are actually Saturday today. I hope you guys had a fantastic Canada Day. If whatever you decided to do, I hope it was awesome. It's Canada Day up here in Canada. It's our long weekend down in the States. It is the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July long weekend to you guys. Lots of cool things going on now up here, especially in North America. A couple quick updates before we get started. We are actually a new month in July. So, what that means is there's new products, new promotions going on. There's actually dollar days back at doTERRA. So if you enroll with, I believe it's 150 PV order, you actually get $50 in free product back from doTERRA. So it's kind of spend more and they give you, the more you spend, the more you get back. It's really cool going on. So if you're interested in getting paid to sign up with doTERRA this month, definitely reach out to me, drop me a comment, send me a message. Convention tickets have gone on sale officially. I believe they go up in price in a couple of weeks, so we want to make sure to lock in the lowest possible price. There is an in-person event definitely this year. It's going to be in Utah at the stadium where the Utah Jazz play. If you're interested in, if you or somebody you know of, right, is interested in attending in person, definitely reach out to me. We'll get you travel arrangements set up, hotel accommodations, and the whatnots. There's also a live stream version going on, and that's the one that I'm super excited about. There's actually an option to add on what's called a swag box into your ticket, which is exclusive oils that aren't normally sold. There's some cool things. Last year we got a bag, we got a journal, a cool little pen, and some oils that aren't normally for sale. So I love getting those exclusive things, right? That most people don't have. It really makes me feel like I'm getting a one-up, if you will. So definitely, if you or somebody you know of is interested in attending convention, it is going to be a week-long awesome event, learning tons about the science behind essential oils, how to reduce the toxic load in your life, guest speakers from everywhere. Last year we had Hugh Jackman. That was cool. And it's such an amazing event. Definitely reach out to me if you're interested in attending. Lastly, I have launched a weight loss course for beginners. It is an online digital course for download. Discover 5 little known ways to lose weight. If you or somebody you know of is interested in shedding a few pounds, especially with the summer months officially upon us, definitely reach out to me, drop me a comment, send me a message, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. There's tons of cool things that come along with the initial launch, and I'm super excited to get it out there for everybody to consume and benefit from. Okay, whew. Like I said, there's tons going on over here. What a great time to be alive. There is so much more going on, but I could keep going and going. What I wanted to do, let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic, actually the other day was, National Logistics Day. So what I thought was a perfect time to talk about how to get and stay organized, right? There's, you can definitely, when it comes to staying organized, right? It's a lot easier getting organized than actually staying organized because there's tons of stuff that goes along or comes along on a regular basis, right, into our daily lives, and we need to be able to sort and process through most of it, in a relatively short amount of time. So that's where the staying organized can really get off the rails real quick. So that's where I wanted to come on, give some tips that help me sort of stay organized. Tina's really great at being organized for the most part. So that's where a lot of mine come from her. And she was really nice to teach me on how to stay organized. So I want to talk about tips that help me. Hopefully they help you too. Hopefully you get some value out of them, right? And hopefully you figure out a couple ways to help yourself not only get organized, but stay organized in the long run, right? So, number one, more than anything, you need to focus your thoughts. right? This is what I just finished saying, is that a lot of stuff comes along in our lives. You know, and it's a lot for us to have to sort through and sift through and process, right? But that's exactly why we need to be focusing our thoughts, right? Decide what's important to us, what needs to get done versus what wants to get done, right? What is an actual priority at this specific moment versus what can I hold off on and do maybe a little bit later? Maybe I only need to put a little bit of effort into something now, you know, for the course of time versus something else needs a lot of my effort and energy right now, you know, the deadlines, right? And stuff like that. So that's where really focusing on what matters to you, what's important to you, what is actually pushing you towards your goals, what, you know, what, and also too on what is not helping you, right? This is where I like talking about getting a journal, and writing down, you know, what is going on in your head. So when we focus on what's important to us, this is really where, you know, the staying organized is really in this, in our thought process, right? When we decide what's important to us, when we decide what matters to us, that's where we tend to put our effort and energy into, and that's where we can, it sort of becomes that much more clear to us what needs to get done, what actions we need to take in order to progress ourselves towards our goals. When we focus our thoughts on what actually matters to us, then we're doing things that are important to taking us from where we are to where we want to go. When we're not focused and when we're just kind of doing a million things at once, when we're trying to do too many things all at the same time, that's where our thoughts can get sporadic. We can stop really realizing what is truly important to us because we're trying to we've worn ourselves too thin, trying to do too much, and you know that's where you know stuff can get off the rails, right? I like to think of it as sort of like a bucket of water, right? Your brain, for everything that comes in, eventually there's going to be an overload, right? So if you're just piling things in versus focused on what you're thinking about, then that'll help you in, you know, over time in the long run. Number 2, make lists. This is really a list, and lists will be your best friend more than anything, because this allows you to not only to prioritize what's important to you, but also to prioritize those priorities, right? So you get, and this is where, I mean, if you, Tina's the list queen, right? You got a list for your lists, and then a master list, and then, you know, a list over here for this stuff, and then each different task has its own separate list, right? So if there's something that needs to be done, there's a list of things that need to get done in order for that to be done. And then you break that down, and each one of those things has its own list, right? And then that's where you branch off, and it can get very much, you know, it can be very overwhelming, right? To have all these lists all over the place. And that's why I put this one after focusing your thoughts, right? Because you're focused on what's actually matters to you, what's important to you, and that way you can put that stuff on a list. And you think about what actually matters to you. So, you know, I want to make sure that all of my files have their own folder, right? Okay, so then that's your list. What type of files do you need in that folder? Is it going to be, do you need multiple folders for that one folder? Is it going to be one thing where it's just one sheet of paper, you know, or one little thing that needs to go there, right? And that's where you can, that's where you break down what actually goes into keeping those files in the correct order, a safe place for you to go and reach them, right? They have to be easily accessible. Or do they have to be easily accessible, right? These are things that they become more clear as you write them down and as you prioritize them in a way, you know, in a list of things that sort of need to be done, right? If you think about that, when you get your overall goals, right? When you have your real big goal, then you bracket off and you branch off into things that need to be done in order to get that. And that's where your list comes. That's where you start working backwards, right? You have the one goal here, then you start working backwards. You see the steps, they start to unfold as to what needs to happen. And that's where you can conquer, right? Also, too, checking things off a list That just makes you feel so much more accomplished. It makes you feel so much better about yourself, and it's such an easy way to just I guess reward yourself, right? We do, when you're looking at your list and when you're looking at your stuff on your list and it's not checked off, it can be very detrimental to your overall wellness, right? But when you start checking things off and you're going and you're doing things, for me, I like to just put things on lists that I've already done just so I can check them off, right? Makes me feel like I'm like a sense of accomplishment, right? Like I'm doing things to progress myself towards my goal. Make lists your best friend, and I promise they will help you more than they will hinder you. Number 3, color coordinate. This one is huge, and in terms of bins, files, folders, pens, right? Anything that you are interested in organizing. Side note, water. Always want to make sure you're drinking your water. But color coordinating is not only will it help you know where things are, but it's so much more fun to do, right? As if your office is just full of black shelving units with black boxes and black doors, maybe white doors, right? And you have a black desk with a black laptop and a black pen. Right? Everything is the same color, and it makes it really hard to know what's different about anything, right? That's why we talk about highlighters in different colors, different pens for different subjects, right? Different pens for different times of day, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you consider a different pen for different weeks, right? Or different subjects that you're talking about. Then with your files, right? Maybe you consider a different color folder for each thing that you need to organize, right? Maybe you consider a different color bin or maybe you consider the same color bin for, the same sort of things, and then a different color bin for a different set of things, right? I love this one. I love this one not only in helping you to organize your thoughts better and your workspace and whatever you're trying to go to, but it's also funner to look at, right? It's more fun to look at a color coordinated shelving unit, we'll call it, than to just look at a black unit with black doors and sitting beside a black desk with a black laptop, right? And then you open the doors to find your brown folders and they're all the same thing, and you're using a black pen for everything, right? So color coordinate, put a little bit of color into your life. It'll make it more fun to at the very least, right? It'll make it more fun to look at. This is one of those, right? If you are trying to organize and color coordinating your stuff makes zero difference to you and you had no benefit from it, definitely come back and tell me how this made no difference in your life, and I would love to hear the story behind that. So, we are talking here on, the other day was National Logistics Day, so what I wanted to give some tips on was how to get and stay organized. Number 1, focus your thoughts. Number 2, make lists. Number 3, color coordinate. Number 4, journal. Journaling. This one, I referenced this one earlier, and this one is a great way to circle back to the first tip, which is focus your thoughts, because things can happen in our head, and we can really get we can get inside our head, and we can make it seem like it's so much worse than it actually is, and we can make it seem like there's so much more going on to the story than there actually is. That's why I love journaling this stuff on paper, writing it down on paper. Now, journaling doesn't actually have to be on paper, right? It can be talking in front of a camera. It can be a voice recording device, right? Whatever's easier to you if you want to type it out on a computer, right? So it doesn't have to be writing down, but there is power, right, in writing stuff out on paper, putting your thoughts through your body onto the paper, right? And I like this in like a sort of 3-part way. You're thinking about it, 1, then you write it, 2, then you're looking at that, 3. So that's the 3-part thing that I like about writing. And it can also be a great way to have conversations with yourself. Maybe you're stuck inside your head about something and you want to work it out. It's also an easy way to, it's also, sort of the way that we can see if we're going on the right direction, right? If we're coming from where we want to go and we're moving into the right direction. If we don't write it down and we don't sort of, follow our steps and we don't know where we're coming from and where we're going, we don't know that we're on the right track. We don't know that we're making the decisions that progress us further. That's why we have to journal it on. That's why we have to get it out of our heads and onto paper of some sort, because we need to know if we're doing the things that will take us towards our goal or if we need to change it up a little bit. You don't know what you don't know, so that's why we need to document it so that we can go back and know, right? Number 5, reward yourself. Right? Everything in life we do for a reward. Whether it be we wake up in the morning to go to work for the reward of money. We buy a house or an apartment for the reward of shelter. We have clothes, right, for the reward of being able to go outside and not be naked, right? We have a family for the reward of that lifestyle, right? Everything in life we do for a reward. So when you're trying to get and stay organized, you need to be able to reward yourself. You have to be able to give yourself a old pat on the back, because that's an easy way for you to keep motivation, to keep going, right? To, see that you're accomplishing something. Give yourself that pat on the back. Let yourself know that, life is hard, right? It is very easy to get super disorganized and to, just leave it for another time when you get around to it, right? So the fact that you're admitting that you need to do it and you're doing it and you're keeping it, that's a reward in itself, right? Life is hard. And we need to be as easy on ourselves as we can. And, rewarding yourself for a job well done, that's the best you can do. My last tip more than anything is essential oils. Essential oils I love using for everything and trying to get organized. Actually, we'll start with this one. Is a blend called Motivate. And trying to get organized, right? Trying to work up the courage. This is kind of for not when it's a complete disaster, right? When you're looking at an office space that's a complete train wreck and it looks like a tornado just ran through your office, then that's kind of motivation enough. But if we don't want to get to that point, Motivate is a great way to help with that. It's the encouraging blend from doTERRA. It'll give you a nice promotion for yourself when you need to promote yourself up, when you need to pump yourself up. I love using that. I actually love using that one on the collar of my shirt, right, like that. And then when I sweat, especially nowadays in the summertime, right, it makes for its own little diffuser. And then my last blend here is Intune. I don't know if you can see that one. That's actually a very light label. But Intune is actually the focus blend. And, when we're trying to get and stay organized and try and figuring out where everything is, staying focused, right, and remembering that stuff. That's why I love using the Intune. And I love that it's a roller blend too. I like using the roller blend just on the back of my neck here or the pulse points, just like that, to help promote focus, right, and mental clarity when we're trying to, accomplish a task and then remember what we did for it in the future. That's all I got for you for today. I really hope you enjoyed this. I know I had some fun making it. Feel free to share this with your friends, a family member, perhaps somebody from your team that you feel needs to hear this. If you'd like to learn more about essential oils or how to get your hands on some of this cool stuff that I'm talking about, or if you'd like a free sample of oils just to give it a little tester before you make a real commitment to it, definitely drop me a comment, send me a message saying me, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Saturday and an even better rest of your long weekend. And I look very forward to talking to you again. I love you guys. Bye for now.